So while I'm waiting here, I could actually probably come up with theories of my exaggerated worldview of what's happening specifically. But in essence, I really am not sure of what's happening. But this is just from this video because I'm not playing the video. It's a Windows 32 device, so it's the 64-bit to 32-bit conversion that we're talking about. So this is legacy code that this has. Believes is used for kernel user mode IPC. Yeah. So just going through. I'll mute it for now just because it's loud. Okay. So, in essence, I think I can sort of break this down just from my limited knowledge of the Unga Bunga lifestyle. But the // dot, when you do the / in command prompt or any sort of command-based utility, such as a web browser, a search engine of some kind, a program that sort of connects to files, essentially a file system structure. In order for this stuff to go both in and out and do anything within its own environment, it has to use the kernel. This is the common knowledge of, like, you have like computer start, the BIOS, whatever start thing is next, then kernel somewhere in there, then like operating system underneath that like kernel part, that little area that exists on the boot sector sometimes, but I don't know what it is now because I'm tired. So what I'm seeing just by within its own little classification, because I'm sure there's an explanation somewhere that I don't care, I'm doing this my own, is that the // dot, you're saying go to dot / global root, which is the next path. So that is the dot all path global root device con drv kernel connect. And I think, just again, limited stupid man, unga bunga interpretation, in this path you are connecting to a kernel aspect that a user of any kind should not have access to. Like how in Linux you would have, because Linux is kind of where I'm getting a little bit this from. In Linux, you would have the paths be the actual system. So if you change a .config file for something, that entire path for the .config file is what you're changing, not just the actual file. And Windows isn't Linux, but it uses the same basic stuff that like Unix or the original binaries, the original ones and zeros uses, where at some point this path has to be somewhere stated within the operating system for this to work. So when you're currently in the operating system itself and you say, operating system, show me that path, that path, because it's on that side. For probably flip the screen around. It's on that path. You're saying, look, there are sections of Windows that are not accessible to the user, but that the Windows operating system does, that say operating system, kernel, Windows. And you basically say, go to this path, show me this path. No, I'm not going to do that because I'm Windows, screw you. And probably in Linux, if I went to that path, and I can probably try, I don't know if I can get it working on a Linux machine, but I can imagine if I go to Windows, go to that path in a Linux machine, because I won't be booting to the Windows environment, that path would be effectively like the bash arguments in Linux, or the actual Kronos tab in Linux, you know, cron tab. This is the Windows version, not the BSD, the DOS version of the kernel system. And so, like how, you know, Grub, you can work in Grub as its own thing in Linux, this would be the Grub version, or something similar, you know, not specifically, you know, I'm still don't know what I'm talking about, but the point is that that path being displayed on a machine in Windows says, give me this path. Well, hold on, in order to give you this path, I need to basically go into the system, fetch it, and while this path is still running, display its contents. Hey, you displayed my contents. I'm probably some sort of boot file, or con-drv, so probably connection drive, so connect to drive, and kernel connect, so that, you know, path, it's probably saying, hey, drive, device drive, or RAM, load this section into RAM, go there, and put every file that's under kernel connect into RAM. Because this is a path, right? It's not like it's a file, or it might be a file specifically, but it's a path. And so when you say, do this path, and you load it into Windows, you're basically connecting to probably something like the boot sector, right? Hey, boot sector, load this path again, even though I'm currently loading you. Right? My camera's up there because, you know, multiple monitors, so sorry for not eye contact problem, but the point being, instead of having the startup process go to this path, retrieve what it needs, and get out and close that path down, or just leave it in the background, whatever it does, you're specifically saying Windows 32-bit system, or Win32 namespace, whatever system, go through the DOS prerequisites, go through all of this, go back to that thing that you're hiding, and open it. Boom. Go and open it. Well, it's currently open in some capacity. Well, not really, because I can't see it. Well, actually, but no, but actually, but boom, boom, crash. And when I type that in to the virtual machine, I've noticed, because I've actually done this before, that's why I'm recording, that essentially the device itself has a giant red read. Or, I don't know if it's read or write, but the point is, the dot, this little dot here on this hard drive thing that's blinking, that goes red, and this RAM here says, yikers, I'm out of RAM completely. So, well, okay, the RAM actually makes sense. If you think about it, the RAM would make sense, because do this thing, well, the whole system's buggered, so I don't know what's going on. And then the disc, though, it does, hey, I'm going to go with it reads, read once. And then, like, it does that. So, my brain died. I mean, this video's not new. It's been on here. I've shared it with people. But what I'm doing and why I'm recording is because I want this machine, virtual machine, to be able to have a old install, and I'm going to update it, as much as it can. I probably need to just reinstall a new machine, full from scratch. It'd be much easier than these updates. But I'm going to attempt to run the same machine here, and we're going to, just let it install, do its updates, get up to the latest version I can, so 20H2, whatever genre. I stopped keeping track because I've been busy. And then I'm going to see if this patch has been fixed, specifically this one, or if it has not been fixed, try and determine that, is this a system thing? Like a system specific thing? I'm going to, see, I have a Windows Server 2019 I can give it a shot on, probably. Or I'm going to just make a call from there and be like, hey, look, it's not really something to get interested in. So, I don't want to pause the recording, but, it's still at 90% here, and I don't know if I have to completely start from scratch. So, we'll see which one's faster, and we'll go from there.